Republican may just have been caught committing voter fraud. Now, this is according to a report in the New Yorker. Mark Meadows, surprising result. Mark Meadows is Donald Trump's former chief of staff. Turns out he put some false things on paper when it came to his voter registration. So the story goes like this. On September 19th, 2020, that's just about 3 weeks before North Carolina's voter registration deadline for the general election, Meadows filed paperwork for the election. So now he got an absentee ballot, and on the line that asked for his residential address, where you physically live. So, you have to live there. It's got to be your primary domicile, where you live most of the time, right? Meadows wrote down an address that was, rather curious, actually. Apparently, there is a 14 by 62 foot mobile home in Scaly Mountain. That's Scaly Mountain, right? Now, he listed the move-in date for this address the following day, September 20th. So now, what's interesting here is he does not and never owned that property. So wait, why would he put down for his address that he lived there when he didn't live there? So now, by the way, that's a red flag, a gigantic red flag, obviously. The second one being, wait, you're a United States, or were a United States congressman. Now you're working for Donald Trump. Wouldn't that be a significant downgrade? I know Donald Trump doesn't pay people, but seriously, honestly, that's a big downgrade. Big downgrade. Now, he actually had a 2,200 square foot home in Sapphire, North Carolina, and a condo in Virginia. So why does he have this trailer in the mountains? That's quite curious. Or why did he put this down? Well, the New Yorker adds, it is not clear that Meadows has ever even spent a single night there in that trailer. Yeah, this is very strange. Yeah, it's very, very strange. Now, the previous owner, by the way, who asked for anonymity, now lives in Florida. And so the reporter talked to them. And she told reporter Charles Bethea, quote, "Oh, that was just a summer home." Now, she seemed surprised to learn that the residence was listed on the Meadows' forms and told the paper that she used to vacation there with her husband. Of course, since he passed away, she's hadn't really no reason to visit. It's kind of a pretty sad story. And it's been fairly empty for the most part until a new buyer came along. And so now, while she still owned it, she rented it out a couple of times. Now, it turns out, once it got rented to Debbie Meadows, who, according to the former owner, reserved the house for about 2 months at some point within the past few years. She couldn't remember the years, but only spent about 1 or 2 nights in that house. The Meadows' kids had visited the place as well. However, as for Mark was never there. At least she never saw Mark. He's never spent a night there. So now, wait a minute. Those forms claim that he lived there. It was a voter registration form. So now, who actually owns it now? Well, it gets even better. Now, apparently, a retail manager at Lowe's, Ken Abel, bought the mobile home back in August of the following year, in 2021. Abel said that he had heard that the Meadows family had stayed there in the fall of 2020 when they were there in the area for a Trump rally because nearby hotels were scarce. The realtor who facilitated the purchase, who the reporter was unable to reach before publication, told him this. He said, and the realtor had heard it from the Tallies, which were neighbors, and that struck him as odd. Quote, this is from Abel now. I made a lot of improvements, but when I got it, it's not the kind of place you'd think the chief of staff of the president would be staying. The reporter asked him what he made of Meadows listing the property as his place of residence on his voter registration form. And he simply responded with, quote, "That's weird that he would do that. Really weird." Oh, weird. No, it's not weird. It's fraud. Which, again, incredibly ironic because Mark Meadows was one of the most influential Republicans calling out so-called widespread voter fraud. Along with Donald Trump, it's like, oh, we got the voter fraud everywhere. The voter fraud. Look at the voter fraud. Democrats, I can't believe the Democrats are doing voter fraud in the 2020 election. They stole the election from Donald Trump. How dare they? When he apparently was doing his own voter fraud. Because again, it is illegal to lie about your residence. And so, look, again, legally speaking, you can have more than one residence, but only one domicile. And that your voter registration must be linked to your domicile. So for something, of course, to qualify as such, it must be a place of abode where you have spent at least one night and where you intend to remain indefinitely, or at least without a present intent to establish a domicile at some other place. Now, it didn't seem to be like that was the case for Mark Meadows. Now, maybe when he was running for a specific seat in that area, he might have considered or entertained the thought. Then again, maybe not. Very strange. Now, how do you prove intent, of course? Well, there are different ways, of course. For one, you can sign up for mail delivery. But before the guy bought the place, Bell, there was no mailbox set up. So I guess that's out. Of course, there's also, signing up for like a cable bill even. Just to show that you're spending a lot of time there and that you intend to spend more time there. But that didn't happen. And again, doesn't even own the place now. And so for me, it looks like we got some voter fraud going on here. Yes, you might want to look into it. Yeah, I mean, you know what we do with people who do voter fraud? Well, if you're white, we do nothing. We give you at most 6 months of probation in some of the other stories that I've referenced. But if you're black, well, then you get 6 years in 1 day. And so, lucky for Mark Meadows, he is both white and a Republican. And so very likely nothing will ever happen.